Oh, welcome to Jocelyn Fiorina from the Central Supélec.
Hello, everybody. Present myself. I'm Jocelyn Fiorina, professor at Central Supélec. I will present you what we have done in this pedagogical guidelines. So it was a preliminary work done 1 year ago to prepare then all the work that has been done inside assets. Okay, so what we have done mainly is to follow the methodology that has been presented just before, and there have been some job profiles and skills that has been gathered from many industrials in the field, and they have been gathered and compiled, and then they have been analyzed to see, so what are those different job profiles, what are the different skills associated to which job profile, and there is a huge list. And so we had to identify 10 job profiles of interest, the one that covers the main skills and the one who had the most interests on all the skills and job profile that we identified. And they covered, of course, the 3 domains that has been identified by assets: cybersecurity, C4I star, and robotics, and artificial intelligence. So, of course, in the report, there is a report 2.1, I guess, that's the name, where there is the full list of the skills and then the sub-selections. And they answer to market needs, as had been said. And once you have the skills, you have to find the right pedagogical activities to give those skills to the students. And they have also to rely on some knowledge, of course, and on assessments. And when we speak about assessments, it's the assessments of the learners about the knowledge and the skills, but it's also the assessment of the activity, of the pedagogical activity. So I will come back to that later. So there was this first step of analysis the skill and job profile, and to look at pedagogical approaches. And to find also the good pedagogical approaches, we had to share among all the partners of the project, because we have a lot of experience in pedagogical activities among all the partners. And a big survey has been launched to see what is done among all the participants of the project. And of course, there is already a lot of lectures, activities existing in the different fields we want to cover. So we have done a survey on that. And we have seen also how those activities were covered. I mean, which kind of pedagogical activities? Sometimes it's lectures, sometimes it's trainings, sometimes it's practice works, sometimes it's online, sometimes it's not online. So we have a big survey. And we see, for instance, here, to get the transversal skills, the events-related skills, and the technical skills, what kind of activities exist already among the partners. So there are some lectures, there are some tutorials, there are some case studies, there are some working groups, there are some problem-based learning in each of those 3 topics: technical skills, defense-related skills, and transversal skills. And there are some... So it's not, all the tables are not here, but they are in the report. And there are some activities that are meant to be done online also. And I have to say that when we launched this work, it was exactly during the period where we needed to have online activities, because it was during the confinement. And sharing the experience of all the partners and sharing the objectives of the project, it appears that we need to have a pedagogy oriented around the need of arising from complex systems, because we tackle some complex system that depends on a lot of parameters, a lot of techniques, a lot of environment issues, economic, politicals, and all that. So it's complex systems. It has to be multidisciplinary and project-based curriculum. project-based not to be only theoretical, to also apply what you learn, and by applying what you learn, you get the skills. So it's a skills-based approach. So there is both knowledge acquisition and skill development. And at the end, specific assessment, where you assess what you have learned, but you assess also the process to learn it. And when you assess each time you have a round of those activities, you can improve the system by assessing it each time. So what we have is an example of what we can have as activities for this skill-based approach, this complex system-based approach, and this multidisciplinary based approach. So there are some basic activities, which are the lectures. And this, we don't want to remove it, actually, because if you have some theoretical things to learn, it's also based on lectures, traditional lectures. And the skills, the practical skills related to the need of the industry answer to specific need at the moment of today. But you have also to be adaptable for the future. And to be adaptable for the future, you have also to have a level of abstraction and a level of theory that allows you to apply your skill then to the evolution of the needs. So there is a need of lectures to tackle also the theoretical and the abstract part of it that then can be shifted to other domain. But what is important is also the skills, the project-based and the problem-solving activities. So in order to do that, you need projects and you need to apply what you have learned into a specific project. And you need to know why you apply it. So you need to have also to be put in the context and to have also insights on what is the context. So we have an example here of pedagogic activity that we have developed at Centrale Supélec and that we have presented as an example in the report. And it's based on different kind of lectures. So in the middle, it's the traditional lectures, but they can also be done with some pedagogical innovation. And you have different kind of lectures. So you can have very theoretical lectures, you can have technical lectures, and you can have also very oriented lectures toward the finality of what you learn, defense sector. What is important is also introductory week, where you have people working in the domain or institution working in the domain that present their point of view on the domain and why you are learning what you are going to learn, what is it used for, why is it important, what is the context, economic context, political context, technological context. So that puts you in the context. Then there is the skills and knowledge you learn, but then what is important also is to apply all what you have learned. And to apply it, you apply it during an intensive week of project where a specific project is given to you. And in order to realize this project in team, usually, you have to gather all what you have learned in the different lectures. So the project is tailored to be used with all what you have learned during the lectures before and during the class before. And so it's multidisciplinary because you have to use all what you have learned. It's multidisciplinary, but it's also very concrete because the problem is given by the actor of the domain. So you can apply this type of object to any kind of activities that we want in the assets in the Asset Plus project. So an example would be to apply it to the sensor networks for the defense sector. So it's a very specific domain, but in order to do that, you need to know why you need sensor networks in the defense sector. And you need a set of courses. So you need, when you have sensor networks, you need to know a little bit about communication system, about signal processing, about data processing, sometimes about machine learning. And you need also very specific courses about what kind of sensor networks are used today, what kind of standards are used in the military domain. And then the last week, you use it to develop and to employ a sensor network. And so you develop it and you have to gather the data and to treat the data. So that's an example of pedagogical activity that can be applied to the aim of the Assets Plus project. Of course, it has been then to be deployed in function of the EQF level you want. And so the degree of theory, the degree of lecture will be different if you are at the university level or the vocational studies level. It can be short or long. It can be to the length of a quarter, or it can be done in a very concentrated time, or it can be during the free time of people working during the day. So you can adapt these kind of things in the many contexts of the different EQF level. And then what has been proposed is, so that's an example. Of course, that's not an obligation to follow this kind of organization, but that's the things that has been proposed in the report. But what has been proposed more generally also is a template when you propose an activity to have a common template, and the template that says you the different different characteristics of the activities that you are building. And the templates, I guess, then there have been also an assessment and feedbacks on the templates that have been proposed. So this is an example of a feedback that is given on a template. I don't have the slide with the template of the activities that can be proposed, so how is the template. But there is also full work on assessment on the activities that has been performed. And this is an example of assessment, and with the compliance with the recommendation of the 2.1 report, with the syllabus evaluation, and with the CTS, the number of time, the number of hours you spend on it, the competency, the skills, the knowledge. So it has been done for the various proposals. So this is the assessment of the proposition, but there is also the assessment of the activities themselves. So when the students do the different activities, how they are assessed, how the skills and the knowledge are assessed. But what is also very important is to assess the activities itself, so how it satisfies both the one who learn and the one who teach. So at the end of an activity, it's important to have the feedback of everyone to know if the different objectives are met. So if the skills are met, if the way they were taught was good, if there is a good use of the different knowledge and skills that you have learned. So there is a full feedback at the end in order to improve the activity over the years. And that's the global philosophy around the design methods that have been presented in the report. And I guess that the next step will be to present the different kind of activities that has been developed.
Okay, thanks a lot.